Hi everyone and welcome back. This is Sky coming on to talk to you about the transit of Jupiter in Cancer. I will put the dates below in the description box for you guys to know exactly what timelines we are dealing with here. It is basically about a year from the time that it is starting on June 9th, 2025. And I want to come on today and talk to you all a little bit about how things have already changed. I'm not sure if you guys felt the quantum paradigm shift that happened right on about the later part of June 8th and moving into June 9th. I wanted to come on immediately to inform you all about my understanding of this energy shift. And if you enjoy the video, hit the subscribe button below, thumbs up the video, and be sure to share it as well on social media to get it out there if it helps you. So I understand that things have really slowed down a little bit. I understand that these sort of manic, overburdened, erratic energies of debilitated Jupiter in Gemini have already ended. There will be a transition period, obviously, that lasts about the duration of Gemini and Cancer season. By the time we get strongly into the Sun in Cancer, though, we will fully move into this energy. And it's going to ask us to take it easier on ourselves a little bit. It's going to question a lot of our ideas and philosophies, right? Jupiter being the philosophical planet, the natural ruler of Sag. It's also exalted in the sign of Cancer and was debilitated in Gemini. So we have a lot of philosophies that are not going to work past this point, and we are going to have a lot of collective ideals also, recognizing that they've been a bit toxic or a bit off. People are quite aware of where the problems are. People are quite aware of who the problem causers are as well. And there's going to be a bit of a regrouping now. This will be a wonderful transit to regroup your life. This will be a wonderful transit to focus on you, okay? Again, we have Jupiter exalted, right, in Cancer in the fourth house. Jupiter and the fourth house get along very well. And the fourth house is the nadir. It's the bottom point of the chart. So it's going to be a transit that increases our foundation. It's going to be a transit that also radically expands our relationship with ourselves. There's going to be a lot of self-focus needed during this time, whereas Jupiter transiting Gemini may have been more of an external focus, as well as the transit of Taurus too. There would have been more of a focus on other people in our lives, the relationships of our lives. And if you noticed, when Jupiter went into Gemini, there were a lot of like frivolous tangential relationships that came in, and these may not come forward past this transit here. So identify the people that you have in your life. This will be a time where it's more important to have a close inner circle than it is to have a bunch of frivolous network or frivolous contacts that are exhausting to keep up. And we're going to need to really pare things down and simplify things in some cases. So Jupiter in Cancer is a healing frequency. This is a period of time, 2025 through 2026, where we have to really be aware of what is not working. We have to be aware also of what is causing harm, what is burning us out, the workflows, routines, people, areas that don't agree with us. We have to accept this. So the worst thing coming into this transit would be, and this is also very prolific right now, romanticizing something bad, not accepting that something burns you out, not accepting that something drains your resources, your life force energy, and just repeating these habits. That will be something that we need to become cognizant of right in the beginning of here. And, you know, you want to be careful about super heavy-handed tactics. You know, for example, just totally quitting a job that you feel burned out by may not be the way forward here. But if you keep seeing, like, even like halfway through this transit by like the calendar new year of 2026, if you still feel kind of burned out, you might need something more heavy-handed, or you might even need, you know, people talk about with Jupiter in Cancer, it's a time where you need more time at home, or you need more time resting. It's also a time for sabbaticals for some people. It's a time also, I've understood very clearly, this is probably for most people not where you make the most money you're ever going to make in your life, or not where you're the most, sociable that you're ever going to be in your life. This is a time where there's an expansion of the private sphere, not so much the public sphere. Jupiter in Gemini was very much about the public sphere, so was Jupiter in Taurus and Aries, in fact. Jupiter in Cancer is about the private sphere, the home life. Also, if it's not about the home life, it can be about being in territories where you have anonymity. So that still feels very private, right? So like vacations, sabbaticals. Being near water is very important for Jupiter in Cancer. Rain, negative ions, growth, healing, and more energy gained through not feeling parched, okay? I feel that people are very emotionally parched coming out of Jupiter and Gemini. I feel people are very drained. I feel that people need to take it easier on themselves, and they need to build up their reserves of mental health, emotional health, and resilience. So how can you do that? What is the formula to getting better mental health? For some people, Jupiter in Cancer is a good therapist. Okay, Jupiter is also an expert of some kind. It is the archetype of people who have some type of expertise, professors, therapists, anybody who has some type of rank is represented by both Jupiter and Saturn. But for Saturn, it's more about hierarchy, whereas Jupiter is like true merited expertise. So you may need some type of expert in your life, or some kind of expert who can help you work on your private sphere, who can help you work on your internal environment. This can also be like home renovations, also moving for some people, or like a better home environment, a healed home environment. It's a wonderful time to have a new house. I also predict higher housing prices, though. Jupiter also is like an increasing like economic factor. So usually the sign that it's in shows where the economy increases. So with Jupiter and Gemini, it was like an increase in AI, innovation, technology, communications, things like that. With Jupiter in Cancer, it's going to be more about housing and private things. So things that people enjoy in their private lives. I think the health tourism economy will increase, housing economy will increase, and also things about the infrastructure of water, so like bridges, dams, beach real estate or ocean property, also boating or something like that, maybe cruises or something relating to being on water is important for people, but also very economically going to increase and very viable here. But economics aside, this is not a transit that's really about economics beyond the household. So you may not want to really be looking outside to find some kind of like economic benefit. You might not want to be like thinking, if I go all the way over there, I can make money. Or if I do something very unfamiliar to me, like that's where I'm going to make money. This is a transit where in a lot of cases, the lines are already secured, meaning you already understand where your income is, you already understand where your household is, you already understand where your status is, okay? It's not really about seeking some type of new territory, and herein you see the square between Jupiter and Saturn in Aries, because we also have Saturn and Neptune in Aries, which is the opposite of what I'm saying here, and I'll link below my video about the Jupiter-Saturn squares, which I've already talked on, if you want more information there. But yeah, there's going to be a little bit of a conflict going on between like, gosh, I really want to get out of my comfort zone. I really want to find a new frontier. But my opinion is obviously the Saturn, Neptune, and Aries, these will be transits that for Saturn go 3 years and for Neptune go many, many years. So there's going to be plenty of time to do that. I would really capitalize on this transit of Jupiter and Gemini to regroup, to get your energy back, to rest, rehabilitate, rejuvenate, focus on you, focus on your privacy, your internal sphere, your family. Okay, that would be important here. Growth of the family, new children. Okay, very nice time for fertility, conception, childbirth, Jupiter in Cancer, becoming a mother or a father. Okay, very, very nice time for children. Jupiter also has a rulership over parent-child relationships, and in its exaltation means that during this time you could have a child that you will have a good relationship with, indefinitely. So again, conception, yeah, very fertile energy, Jupiter in Cancer, but also conceiving ideas. So dreaming, inspiration, conceiving ideas. What types of environments are conducive to you doing that. Put yourself there. Okay. Also, if you recognize coming out of Jupiter and Gemini, out of a debilitated Jupiter, that you're in an environment that is not conducive. For example, you've moved somewhere and your business has declined, or you feel uncomfortable being in a certain place, or you feel stifled by an environment or burned out by an environment or job, these things have to be regrouped. Again, you don't have to get super heavy-handed, but you can simplify. You can get Quicksilver with it. You can, for some people, if you have like a poverty wound, this is not the time for that. Like, some people do have to take time off from work during Jupiter and Cancer because it's about them. It's not about their employer. So don't overcomplicate it for yourself if you recognize that you need a bit of time to restore your energy. As the transits we've had over the last few years have really gotten people's energy outside of themselves, people have done a lot, people have pushed hard. So, there's always an equal and opposite reaction. If you've had a chapter recently in your life in the last 5 or 8 years, say, where you've had to really push hard to get somewhere, understand that now might be a period of time where you need to recover from that, or you may need to rebuild your energy resources in a very physical way. But of course, the physical goes hand in hand with the mental and emotional. And very simply, at a very mundane level, this could just be like appointing both a therapist and a physical trainer into your life, working along both lines. Again, Cancer is very simple like this. Again, it's the 4th house. Sometimes people really complicate it, and there are some very emotional kind of quantum elements to the 4th house, but also the 4th house is very simple, you all, and people forget this about the 4th house. It's very simple. It's about the 4 walls that you live in. It's about the family that you descend from. It's about your birthright, okay? And just what that is, not complicating that. And it's about the food that you eat, okay? It's about the time of day that you wake up and the time of day that you go to sleep. We also have the South Node in Virgo during this time, and Mars in Virgo, going into Virgo. So this is a simple time, you all. Don't make it that complicated for yourself. If you can just sleep at the right times of day and eat at the right times of day and have good hygiene is a very important matter of the 4th house too. Bathing rituals, skincare routines, grooming. Grooming is also found in the 4th house. How are you doing with this stuff? Because you also see mental health there, don't you? Because when people's mental health declines, they don't groom as well. They don't have as good hygiene typically. Their house gets all messy, right? They start hoarding, perhaps. They start eating poorly. So Jupiter, the healer, the expander, the augmenter, we need to really work on all of these things. And it sounds simple, but it takes a lot of moving parts, doesn't it, to have a healthy house, a healthy grooming routine. It takes money, right? It takes income. It takes, in this day and age, it seems like a very profound person to pull all of that together. But, you don't have to complicate it either. You don't have to make it harder than it is. And you can just institute healthier routines here, as the sextile between Jupiter and Mars and the South Node in Virgo and Cancer is a time of orienting a powerful personal care routine, a personal time management routine, and not making this stressful, not making this hard, but just having a realistic mindset. I'm going to wake up at this time every day. I'm not going to complicate that for myself. I'm not going to get emotional about that. I'm just going to do it. I'm going to have green juice every day at this time of day. I'm going to do the protein shake. I'm going to be at the gym with a personal trainer 3 or 4 times a week. Maybe even just for a week or 2, and then I'm going to do that myself after I learn how to do that, so I don't have to burn up a lot of money in that process. I'm going to be at the therapist office here and there. I'm going to, or every other week, I don't know. Depends on the person. I'm not prescribing people what they need to do with their lives. But the little decisions, you all, with Jupiter and Cancer, the little things you're doing on repeat are what generate the big things, obviously. So, eating a slice of cake every day will make you gain weight, right? Going to the gym every day will help form up your body. sleep to some degree is also found in the 4th house. This is also the 12th house. So if you have like Jupiter transiting like your 4th house, your 8th house, your 12th house, especially if it's in a water house, also Saturn transiting a water house, but really anywhere that it's transiting in your chart, you may need more sleep, or you may need better sleep hygiene. Also sleep care and night routines, portals to the bedroom, having a good bed, having, something that winds you down, getting away from the blue light, reducing screen time. I feel that the 4th house is also somewhat clashing with all the tech and social media and screens, because again, that's like the 11th house, also the 3rd house. So you've got like quincunx and semisextile to the 4th house, all of the innovation and communication technology. So this may be a time to also go on technology diets, or to reduce your dependence on technology and AI, and to reduce things such as like video game playing, or consumption of certain media products, or I shouldn't even, so guys, I have to be careful on YouTube, like telling you, for example, I'm not going to say it in a specific way, but telling you to reduce your consumption of certain short form or even long form video contents on certain like mainstream providers of that. You may want to reduce that, because it might be kind of like making you scatterbrained, but it could be nice also to, engage things like audiobooks or long-form audio content such as this content on YouTube, okay? Would be good to engage, actually. But it's like, what is a scattering content and what is a helpful content, and try to get things that are super erratic out of your mind. Also, the 4th house is not very good for watching very pointy things, so like violent content. It's, for example, watching like horror movies in your house, or even like very explicit materials, okay? Anything that's super edgy is not so great during this transit. We want to resensitize our mind. We want to renew our mind. We want to renew our body, rejuvenate. So anything that's very edgy, or even very triggering to like brain chemicals, addictions, dopamine, all of that stuff needs to really be limited here so that we can resensitize, because that's part of also why people have such poor health these days. It's because they don't have a very good reserve of their brain chemicals. They don't have a very good reserve of body chemicals. And they may not have a very good financial reserve either. So we need to re-proportion our reserves. We need to have things on reserve. And we need to just really build up our mental health, emotional health reserves. Also, it's a great time to be pooling money into a savings account. For some people, it's that. Other people who've done well with that, they may need to lean into that so that they can take time off, or so that they can get something they've really needed, for example, like a house, okay, that is actually right for them. I mean, these are like big ticket purchases, right? Not a bad time, obviously, if it's appropriate for you, depending on your circumstance, to buy a house. But this cannot just be like a crappy house to get by. This would have to be like a very meaningful house. So you can't do this on like a rush or forcefully either. It has to be something that's like feels right and feels like you want it and feels like you're something that feels like home to you. I also feel that focus on health or focus on the body will have multiplied results during this time, meaning it's a good time to focus there. And I think that the biggest thing that I can tell you guys about is you want to like reduce deadlines. You want to reduce anything that puts you into like a frantic tailspin and anything that could possibly cause a burnout, especially if you had burnout or if you have something of a stress disorder, anything like that, like a cortisol disorder, a stress disorder, like a thyroid problem, adrenal fatigue, any health issues that are like indicative of a chronic stress disorder or a burnout or PTSD, even anything like that. This is a very important phase of your life where you can get increased results on healing that if you focus on it. But I do feel that there's a nuance here. Jupiter in Cancer is an increase of nuances too, meaning like you might go into this transit thinking like, I'm going to finally heal my hypothyroidism, or I'm going to finally heal my stress disorder. But also when it comes time to heal that stuff, this is just the nature of life. There may be things that flare up that kind of like test you, like, okay, they are healing their PTSD, or they are healing this or that. All of a sudden, something that might have contributed to that before may flare back up as a test to see if they can, like, you know, withhold or build boundaries between themselves and those issues. So like, don't freak yourself out if you start making progress and there's like a setback or something, because that is a part of actually healing, is being able to be faced with similar issues and not have the same damage done, or to be able to build the appropriate boundaries, or not place yourself in certain issues or in the proximity of certain issues that might put you back or damage you again. So that's a big part of Jupiter in Cancer too, is like the intelligence, or the where you put yourself, where you put your body, the groups you put yourself in, the house you put yourself in, the town, city, or area, province, state, country, okay, that you put yourself in is a focus of this transit. And that is really the most powerful thing in the world, is where you put yourself. So I know that it's a lot to think about. And there's, you know, when you get kind of like, you know, parsing all of this out and you think, gosh, do I need to like move to a different country? Do I need to move to a different city? None of these choices can be rushed or made frivolously, okay? And you don't want to get erratic with it at all. So these are very important decisions. Again, decisions with a capital D is like my motto for, especially now into 2025 and into 2026, very important decisions coming up. And we have to be, I think now I would kind of get in the before time with that, and I'd get my physical and mental health very good so that I could make some powerful decisions with a capital D. Anyway, you all, I do want to do a little bit of housekeeping about the channel, just in concluding this video. I did intend to make a Jupiter in Cancer video for all signs. I did not have time to do that right this second, and I figured you guys would prefer for me to just come on and give you a little bit of insight right as the transit is happening, because I know that it's like going into effect now. I do intend to make an all signs video for this transit at a later time. I will definitely be doing one for Saturn and Aries, like an all signs installment. It just takes a lot of production and a lot of time to make a video with all signs attached. And I definitely know that I have to be sometimes doing things a bit more quickly and easily during this time myself, as Jupiter in Cancer is transiting. It means that things have to be a little bit easier. Sometimes you can't be as long-winded. Sometimes you just need to make things simpler. But yes, there are also free trials on Patreon. I wanted to celebrate getting out of Jupiter in Gemini. I know that it is a period of time where a lot of people are having some tricky questions in their lives. So if you need some extra guidance, free trials are available again over there. So definitely come sign up for and get a week free on Patreon. All of the June sign by signs and weekly forecasts are over there. And I hope to see you guys over there. And yes, keep tuned to YouTube, keep subscribed, keep the bell notifications turned on, and join my mailing list, which is linked below, to get email notifications, as I will be posting similar, easy, shorter content as well during this time. So I hope you all have a wonderful transit, and thank you so much for being here. Leave a comment, hit the like button, and share this video if you get the chance. Much love. Bye.